Ghost Glass, a story by Christopher Friant, read by the author. I never knew who made them. One day they were just everywhere. Stand in front of one long enough, and you will see the ghosts. At first they stand in the distance, barely smudges in the fog. They seem tentative at first, hopeful, shy even, as if they can't quite believe that we could see them, or they didn't want to hope, just to be let down again. Eventually they draw closer. Every store that could get them couldn't keep them in stock. Countless videos on social media, doing breakdowns, all sorts of theories on how they worked, how to hack them in various ways. I never planned on getting one. I didn't really see the appeal of what appeared to be on the surface, some sort of, albeit impressive, technical Halloween parlor trick. 3D tracked somehow. You could walk back and forth, and the ghosts would appear to be really there, shifting with your perspective. Silhouettes behind fogged glass. Black and white, but still so realistic. Some would even turn their heads to follow you, but not always. One day at work, they called everyone to an all-hands Zoom meeting. They said everyone would be getting a panel of ghost glass as a bonus for having worked so hard. Some people were excited. Others, well, they didn't say anything. I was in the latter group. A few days later, a crew arrived. They asked me to pick a wall, and they installed the glass. At first, it was very anticlimactic. I didn't see anything. It was just a white panel in my living room next to the desk. A constant source of light. I remember thinking, congratulations, R&D. You managed to make a less useful LED panel. Raises all around. Then one morning I walk in with my coffee to start work, and there he was. I think it was a he. Hard to tell sometimes, off in the distance of the non-landscape, drowning in white. At first while I was working, my eyes kept cutting to the glass. Sometimes he was closer, sometimes further away. Occasionally he'd move over to one side of the frame. Eventually work became more demanding, and the glass became part of the scenery. I worked. I had food delivered. I slept. Eventually he got right up to the glass. I started a routine where I would say good morning to him, even though I knew he wasn't real. Months passed like this. Eventually there were more, coming closer and closer, touching the glass, standing there. I watched them and they watched me. I remember one day I walked in and they were all gone. That was a bad day. I wondered if they were ever coming back. I thought about calling the company to complain, but work, it took over again. They came back though, thank God. I thought about giving them names, then didn't. I tried to imagine what life was like on that side. Wandering, seeing, mute, but at least they were together. They had a place where they belonged. Work kept ramping up. The turnover was getting bad. People would just ghost the company, which is crazy, right? You'd never work in this industry again pulling a stunt like that, but it just kept happening. I started eating my lunch with the ghosts. I'd talk to them, tell them about how bad work was getting. No sign that they could ever hear me, no real response. But it felt good to get it off my chest. I stopped watching TV and movies, stopped playing games and watching videos online. I didn't need all that anymore. I had my ghost friends. I'd celebrate holidays with them, show them memes from my phone. I set up a chair right in front of the glass. Christmas, New Year's, getting drunk with the ghosts. I barely noticed when my boss went missing. I knew my job and I did it well. I didn't need a babysitter to get things done. I kept taking breaks though, more and more, to talk to my friends. I'd tell them stories, try to motivate them, suggest exercise regimens, show them some of my art. I'd ask them questions about their lives. I'd make jokes and could imagine them laughing. They were there for me when no one else was. One day I tried to connect to the company's server, but it was offline. I assumed it was a temporary issue. Fine by me. I was salaried, and it's more time to spend with my friends. There were a lot of them, more and more every day, standing room only. I never expected to be so popular. Eventually I brought my bed into the room with the glass. I wanted to check in on them first thing in the morning and say goodnight to them just before I went to bed. Eventually, with the internet out, with no sounds outside, I got it. I suppose I knew that people were disappearing, dropping like flies. I wasn't afraid because I knew where they went. They went to be with their friends, their followers. It wasn't anything to be afraid of. It was better over there. Over here you were all alone, all day, every day. There you could be with your friends always. You couldn't talk, you couldn't eat, couldn't sleep, but you wouldn't be alone anymore. Fair trade. The end. That story was read by the author, Christopher Fryant. What you are hearing now is a voice clone of my voice in 11 Labs. If you like the way this sounds, check the link below in the replies to use my voice to narrate your next audiobook, video, podcast, anything you want to use it for. Thank you for listening, and please take a moment to like, repost, and tell me what you thought of the story and the narration in the replies.